Live from RBC 7 News, Kyle Lafferty and Pat Malone, with fieldwork by Harold and Eugene.
Good evening, citizens of the Republic. I'm Kyle Lafferty.
And I'm Patrick Malone, and we are the voices of your evening broadcast. Boom, baby. Tonight on RBC 7 News, we will be taking an in-depth analysis on the new plague outbreaks in the Republic,
As well as an interview with the capture of the infamous enemy of the Republic Day.
And finally, how to get your child prepared for the trial. All this and more next on RBC 7 News. A new strand of the plague has broken into Lake Sector last week. Currently, Republican scientists are working long hours on how to find this cure for this awful disease. And for those of you in Batala sectors, don't worry, because you will get the cure first.
What would we do without those Republican scientists? I mean, those guys are just great.
You know, they really are. You know, they're some of the brightest researchers we've ever had, and you know, we're pretty thankful for having them. You know, do these cures for us. So.
Yeah. Those lucky guys in Batala always get those cures first, don't they?
They do, and you know, they're very lucky, and but they're rewarded from getting good scores on their trials, and you know that's why they're there. So
exactly.
It's all about those trial scores, everybody. So
we'll be talking about that later, also. All right, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned. Clutch.
Humans. Some of us are great athletes. Others, not so much. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with features like new car replacement and guaranteed repairs. See what else comes standard at libertymutual.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Your son's been diagnosed with the plague. Freeze!
You can't be in here.
Where is it? Where's the cure? Where is it?
Oh, it's in the fridge. Don't hurt me, please. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
He's on the stairway. He's exiting.
Daniel, get down here. Mom gets shot.
Freeze! Down on your knees. You, arrest.
On this cold and snowy afternoon, Daniel Atlas Wing, known to the public as Day, the most wanted Republic criminal, has been captured and detained by one of the youngest and highest-ranking government agents that we know.
Day, or Daniel Atlas Wing, has been arrested outside of his home today in this snowy weather. He is awaiting trial from the government and will most likely be executed soon.
Daniel Atlas Wing, enemy of the Republic. Do you have any last words?
No!
On this cold and snowy afternoon, Daniel Atlas Wing, known to the public as Day, the most wanted Republic criminal, has been captured and detained by one of the youngest and highest-ranking government agents that we know.
Day, or Daniel Atlas Wing, has been arrested outside of his home today in this snowy weather. He is awaiting trial from the government and will most likely be executed soon. So stay tuned.
We head live down to the scene where Harold and Eugene are covering the story. Harold, Eugene, you guys there?
Hey Kyle, I'm Harold, this is Eugene. We're down at the scene. We've been here about all day. Speculations have come up that Day was hiding out around town. Came down here to his house when he heard his mother was about to be captured.
You know, this is his very house that, June Empress led him to, and he got captured here, and now he's in the jail at Batala.
And, there's more reports that there was actually a standoff, is what seemed to happen, with Mr. Wing sitting up next to the chimney with only a slingshot, but he managed to take out a couple of guards.
And it's also true that one of the Republic's officers actually shot Mr. Wing's mother.
Yes, she was forced to do so. Mr. Wing would not comply with requests, and that's what we are being told down here.
And so they were able to capture Mr. Wing that way and sent him off to Tatala. So,
and now one of the worst criminals that this Republic has seen is now off the streets. Safe.
Thanks to June Empress. So we thank her.
Thank you, Miss Empress. You are great.
So, all right, Patrick and Kyle.
Back to you.
Welcome back, folks. We're here with June Empress. June, welcome.
Hello, Patrick. Hello, Kyle. It's
Hi.
a pleasure to be on your show.
How does it feel to be one of the most successful Republican agents?
Well, obviously it feels incredible to be just a part of the team that's going out there and making the street a better place, and it's incredible to know that I'm taking part in making the country safer.
And you were actually assigned the lead role on this investigation of Mr. Wing. Why is that?
Well, Mr. Wang had actually brutally murdered my brother while he was trying to steal a plague cure.
What tactics did you use to capture Mr. Wing?
Well, this was actually probably the trickiest part of my whole entire capture, because one mistake could have been fatal. And what I had to do was I dressed up just like them and pretended to be one of them and just hoped that he bought it, and he did.
How did you ultimately get Mr. Wing to buy it or to trust you?
Well, I can't exactly elaborate on this too much. However, I befriended him, and the important thing is that he's off the streets.
How were you able to know that it truly was Mr. Wing?
Well, I had my suspicions, and then as soon as he reached for his medallion that I knew he had actually left at the crime scene, I knew it was him.
Wow, that's truly amazing. Another topic that we're discussing on tonight's show is the trials. It is trials time. This is something that you're familiar with. You are the only person in Republic history to actually score a perfect score, 1,500, on your trial. How does it make you feel?
Well, obviously, it's not just about the scores, Kyle. It's about what you do and how you apply it to the real world. And knowing that I got such a good score on my tests sort of displays itself in my confidence as I go out there and do stuff in the real world.
How did you prepare for the trial?
Well, obviously, you have the 3 different segments. You have the physical, so you need to train. You need to be prepared for that. You have public speaking, so you need to be comfortable in front of a crowd. And you have the intelligence portion, which obviously you can only prepare by natural abilities and paying attention in school.
Do you recommend any trial classes that are offered?
Nothing can hurt. I mean, if you're planning on doing well in the trial, then you need to go do these classes and you need to listen to them, because their time is put into this so that you will succeed.
Do you have any tips for the kids taking the trial?
Well, obviously, do everything you can to improve, and then go out there and do your best.
And one last, or a couple last little points here. Did the death of your parents affect your child in any way?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. If I let it get in my head, then I most likely would not have done as well.
Lastly, do you have any last thoughts for the kids, watching this and preparing for their trial?
Well, obviously, the most important thing is that you're doing everything to your best ability, and don't overthink it. Go out there and give it all you got.
All right. Thank you, Junipers, for coming on the
much.
show.
Thank
and,
you.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, so thank you.
Please come back.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
You know what time it is.
It's trial time.
Trial is such an important thing in this world. It depends on if you're going to be living in the slums or if you're going to be like Juniperus in one of the most collegiate places in the Republic.
Yeah. You could be, one of the Republic's finest warriors or soldiers and agents, or you could be working in a labor camp.
And that's not a very good life to have. And you really need to study and do well in those trials if you want to be successful in this life.
And it's not just up to the kids on these tests. It's also up to the parents to do something as well. They need to help their kids prepare for it, along with, giving them, the nutrients they need for the physical test, the nutrients they need for the interview. They need to be able to sustain a conversation and, be able to answer just these vigorous questions that they're being thrown in,
Yeah, and you should just take opportunities, all the opportunities you can. Like all those trial classes that your child can do. Get them in it. Doesn't hurt to try it. Even if they don't benefit, you at least know you tried.
Exactly.
So just do everything you can, and hopefully they can do the best they can too. So trials are a big thing. Got to make sure you do well if you want to do something in this world, and we'll go from there.
And I'm sure there's if you're looking for more of an advanced class, I'm sure there's some class out there for, a reasonable amount of notes that you can take.
It shouldn't be too much. And even if it is too much, I'm sure you could get a loan,
Yeah, I mean, it's all worth it in the end. That's all that matters.
And, your child will benefit from it. So I really hope you take the opportunities you get, help your child, survive in this world. So, yeah.
All right.
This broadcast has been sponsored by and paid for in full by the Republic.